Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candyman, and you already know what time it is. We're drafting best ball teams. Tonight, I'm feeling like we're going to rip quite a few 20-second puppies. The tournament's only a third full. It's almost certainly going to be open after the schedule releases, but we can keep drafting. The ADPs have shifted a lot this week. The Pickens news, the fallout with Dak and Prescott. The rookies continue to be a topic of conversation. We're going to get into it. We're going to draft some teams. Stick around for it. And I hope to see you in these streets. Let's kick it to the intro. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like actions speak louder than words. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing tonight? It's a Friday night, the perfect time to hit the best ball streets. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching this later, throw me a comment. Say what's up. Let me know if you're a new subscriber, and also what's your underdog username. We can catch you in one of these drafts next time. For all of the regulars that are here, appreciate you guys coming back. We're about to get into a 20-second puppy soon enough. Two things housekeeping wise I want to get into. One of them is the question here from FF Explorer. Steve from Fanspeak Network. Appreciate him coming on last night. Make sure y'all are subbed to Fanspeak. Check out Steve's work. Extremely sharp. If you missed the stream from last night, bookmark it. Consider going back and watching it. I learned a ton. We did 3 best ball drafts, and each one better than the next. So Steve says that in half point PPR, and he's been in the game for a while, right? He's got a lot of the strategy, the ball knowing, the draft analysis, that the flex spot would be taken by a running back, which it can, yeah, typically, yes. But in full PPR, assume the flex spot will be a wide receiver, is what Explorer is assuming. What are my thoughts? I'd have to look at some real data on that, but my gut intuition says that yes, in full PPR, at least kind of as I think back to my dynasty leagues that are full PPR, tight end premium, super flex, those kind of things, start 3 wide receivers, 2 flexes, very deep lineups. You typically want to build a little bit around those younger wide receivers, right? At the same time, if you look at the floor of a flex position, the running backs are going to have, if they have a starting role, if they've got most of the snaps in the backfield, they're going to potentially have a higher floor and still be able to hit some high ceiling outcomes. It's the receivers where you could even have your wide receiver 1, like an AJ Brown, have 2 receptions and maybe not a touchdown and just can't really hit your lineup that week. So I think it depends on the format, right? If we're talking best ball, then you can have a little bit more depth at a certain position. Like wide receiver, you can draft 8 or 9 wide receivers and then hope that one of them is going to cycle through and flex for you. Or if you feel really strongly about the group you drafted, you could draft 6 or 7 wide receivers, 6 being on the riskier side, but it's one before. Think back to 2023 Best Ball Mania champ with the 3-6-6-3 build. So it's been done before. I typically like to get 7 receivers, but if you got a really strong 6, you could stop there. And then, yeah, you've got potential that that third tight end could hit the flex a few times, or that third tight end could fill your tight end spot as your tight end 1, like a Bowers, is hitting your flex. But generally, I like to build it out as if it's going to be, and I think the last data point that kind of sold me on this, I think it was the manifesto from ETR, the best ball manifesto, Michael Leone's work. I think it was a running back hitting the flex spot slightly above average more than the wide receivers. Y'all correct me if I said anything out of turn there, but I have to look back through it in detail in that particular section about the flex spot and drafting for that. So a long way of saying I have no idea. We have no idea what works, but we're going to find out. We're going to draft some teams tonight. What's up, King of Kings? How you doing? How you guys doing this Friday night? I'm pumped. I'm excited to be here. I haven't drafted a single team yet today, so I'm ready to get into one. Let me show you all what we're doing, and I'll count it down for you if you're ready. We're going to do a 20-second per pick puppy. It's 31% filled. It's definitely going to be open when the schedule drops. That's all right. This is going to be my 26 puppy, and we're going to enter it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Snap filled. Sometimes that happens. Let's see who we got in here. Let's see what we got. Honestly, I don't know if I recognize any of these names. But if you're in here in the chat and you're in this room, say what up. Let me know your underdog username. And if you're hanging out in the chat, we can draft this one together. I did a little bit of research earlier today. One thing I was looking at that I've incorporated into my model for my rankings and my player and my team comparisons, I was looking at last year's team stats. So team completions, passing yards, passing attempts, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, all the things you could get, all of those stats you'd want to know. And then also the rank. So, of course, you have, the Bengals coming first in passing touchdowns. Then you have a team like the Bears, who are 28th in the league in total points per game. And so just trying to get some bounds, get some upper and lower bounds on what's realistic, what can be happening. And one thing, that I want to dig into is, of course, things can change in 2025, but based on 2024's scoring and output, how many fantasy relevant players that can win week in and week out and get valuable touches, can an offense support? Can the 2025 Cowboys support CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens? Let's pull up the Cowboys. And then I'm actually going to go to a single team view. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Let me do this view. Let me see. That might be better just for now. All right, so we're looking at just the Cowboys. They've got Dak going in round 11, ADP 125. He's been rising. CD, the wide receiver 3 overall. Pickens is now going at, say, around 64. Other than that, there's not that many fantasy relevant players. You have the running backs that come in quite a bit later in the hundreds. So this Dallas offense can easily support a pick in the top 5 and in the top 70. Jake Ferguson goes a bit later. Let's look at the Bears. So over here we've got, this is last year's stats, but they were 8th ranked in the league in passing completions. They were 21st in points per game, so not actually that great at 20.6 per game. 23 passing touchdowns, that ranked 13th in the league. Not that impressive. Dak missed a lot of games. Could be better. It was better the year before. Let's look at the Chicago Bears. 28th in points per game. They only had 20.1 or 20.8 passing completions per game. That ranked 19th in the league. 20 passing touchdowns, that ranked 25th in the league. And we're trying to say that they can support, and obviously Caleb could take a big step forward, but we're trying to argue that they could support a wide receiver, really 3 wide receivers in the top 100 picks, and a running back, a Dunze and DJ Moore. Their ADPs are sliding. I think people are starting to come around to the idea that this Bears offense, and they'd have to take a big step forward to be able to support all of this fantasy talent. And so they're kind of priced at their ceiling right now. We're pricing in that they're going to exceed expectations. I think that's risky. So I was higher on the Bears during the big board, with them drafting Colston Loveland, who I think is going to command some targets and be a key piece in their offense going forward. Luther Burden, of course, I think he's great. So a lot of those targets are up for grabs. The team is in flux. It's risky. I want to go for the cheaper pieces. I want to go for Burden. I want to go for Loveland in that offense. Swift is finally priced correctly after going 40 picks in ADP, past where he should all summer long. But, we didn't know if the Bears were going to draft someone. So what do y'all think? Just some things I've been throwing around. Start this one off. It's a 20-second puppy with CeeDee Lamb and Bucky Irving. What's up, Joshua? How you doing tonight, my man? Fix the camera for y'all. Ooh. I like that. It's interesting. I mean, CD has been extremely productive, college, in the NFL. He doesn't miss. But I am pretty high on Pickens. Hartman, GM, how you doing tonight, my man? How's your dog doing tonight, Hartman? I love that you've got the dog in the profile pic. Classic. And then Bindles, my man, checking in. He's streaming live right now as well. Shout out to Bindles. Appreciate you coming in with the wrench, giving the what's up. We'll catch him later. Plenty of more Bindles to come in the Fantasy Football Garage. We're cooking some things up. We've been working behind the scenes. We're going to be unveiling something very soon. Big schedule announcement coming up probably tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to announce it tonight. We got things cooking up. T. Higgins, I don't see him falling here all that often. Let me snatch him up, and then I want to show you what that means. So T. Higgins, I got him at pick 28. Let's check out the Bengals. T. Higgins ADP as of today is 23. I have him ranked 24. Like I said, the Bengals were 6th in total points per game, 1st in passing completions, 1st ranked in the league in passing touchdowns. Yeah, that's how you support a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins and a Chase Brown. You got to be tops in the points. But you don't see any other fantasy relevant players. Gesicki goes very late. He can be fantasy relevant, sure, but he's a tight end. So count it. With the best passing offense, one of the best, you've got 1, 2, 3 fantasy assets, right? That's the Bengals. Let's go back to the Bears for a second. I want to drive this point home. I'm not just harping on the Bears. It's just an easy example. Trying to support 1, 2, 3, 4 fantasy assets. Some of them are a little bit cheaper than the Bengals, and maybe 5 if you count Colston Loveland with his current price. It's just there's no way they all pay off. So you got to take a stand. You got to pick the guys you want. For me, I want the cheaper guys. I want Loveland. I want Burden. I'm fading DJ Moore a little bit right now. I've got him ranked 51. His ADP is 42. I think he's going to keep falling. And then Odunze, I have just a very slight fade. Very, very slight. 67 versus 64. Although we've seen Odunze was going in the mid-50s for a long time. He's going to keep sliding. We'll see if the Bears can actually take that step forward. A lot of good things going on, changing with their coaching personnel and the draft capital they've invested in their offense. A lot of good things to come in Chicago, but are they going to be fantasy relevant this year after being so disappointing last season? Who knows? We can look up some more teams as we make these picks. One thing I want to jump back into. So for the T. Higgins pick, we said his ADP was 23, right? Let me find the Bengals. Bengals ADP of 23. I got him there at 28. Let's go to our tiers. Here we go. Draft capital wise, the 28th. Well, actually, I probably should look it up here. Sorry, it's so blinding. The 28th player in ADP should be worth about 76% of a Jamar Chase, or 76% of your draft capital. We'll come back to this. We'll make the pick. We'll come back to this point. I like Metcalf. If I sort by ADP, I could take James Cook. I haven't taken him a lot yet. Actually, don't have any shares of him. Got a lot of Metcalf. I think I can maybe push Metcalf to my next pick. I'm going to go James Cook just to do something different here. A little bit of a value on him. Next pick's going to be 52. There's a chance DK is still there. Let me drive this point home. We'll get back to the draft board. At pick 28 at ADP, you should get 76% of the 101 draft capital wise. I was able to get a player that's worth 80.5%, where T. Higgins goes 23rd in ADP. So that alone is worth 4.5 points of draft capital. We're trying to work our way up the curve, right? Make good picks. That's why we're going to take players, and as they fall past ADP is a surefire way to build some strong teams. I would have liked DK there. I would have liked Jameson there a lot. I could do Mixon or Ridley. I think I'm going to do Ridley just to get another wideout. Although I like Mixon there a lot. Ridley's good for best ball. He's explosive, big play potential. Think back to his earlier in his career, but when he played for the Falcons, he could put up 3 touchdowns in a game. I'd have to look at his game logs. I don't know for the Titans. I think he's had some 2-touchdown games. I don't know if he's gotten a 3-touchdown game again since his suspension. Gives me another out. I didn't want to take Burrow there. I think it's a little bit expensive, and then we've got some other things we can cook up for the quarterback pairings. Very nice. Yeah, mine too. Hartman. Got my dog. She's usually around here somewhere. She likes to make little cameos by forcing me to take her outside, but she's doing good. Yeah, it's bedtime for dogs. It's time for us to be the real dogs, to be in the draft streets drafting. This is a 20-second puppy, and plenty more to come after this. Just getting started. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so the Ridley pick. I think with Cam Ward too, just more things point in the right direction. I wonder how bad Will Levis was, and I think there was the changing at quarterback, so some inconsistency last season. Calvin Ridley still had a pretty good season, over 1,000 yards, had some spike weeks, had some big plays. I wonder if Cam Ward will be good for him, better than last year. Could be really interesting. Calvin Ridley also kind of came into the league at an older age. I think he was 24 his rookie year, so him being past age 30 is not really a concern for me as long as he's healthy. And then again, he missed that year with the suspension. So Joe Burrow goes. This is a really interesting team from the 11th spot. Nico, Derrick Henry, the 3 quarterbacks. Not for me, but maybe he could pull it off. Let's go ahead with this next pick. I have updated my rankings, but I didn't touch every single player. I'm going to move Quinshon Judkins just a little bit down my rankings. After talking to Steve last night, I've always really liked James Conner. I need to get more of him. He can do it all. Otherwise, here, I can do Golden. Pick 69. I might do Golden. Yep. And then push it a little bit. I like Myers on the way back too, if he's there. I still like Pollard and Caleb Johnson. So it's a Bucky and James Cook team. I don't want to force the running back early if I don't have to. I'll let some value fall to me so I can scoop it up. If I take the 3rd running back there, I kind of limit myself to having to pivot away for running back for a while. So by taking another receiver in Matthew Golden, I give myself another out with a QB stacking partner, and then I can scoop up more of these running backs that could fall to me. Could be Montgomery. I don't have a ton of them so far. Be nice to get him past ADP. Because I've got Calvin Ridley, I might also take Pollard then. Myers goes. I would have liked Myers on this team. Geno Smith going to the Raiders. And their whole new offensive scheme, I think it could be really good for fantasy points. Myers is the clear wide receiver 1. Of course, he's got Brock Bowers. He's probably the primary target there, but Myers is no slouch. He can command targets. I could pull something off with Reed, but I'm going to go ahead. It's between Pollard and Montgomery here. or maybe even Caleb Johnson. I'm going to go Montgomery. 2 reasons. One, I've got a ton of Tony Pollard exposure, and on most of those teams, I also have Calvin Ridley. Let's look at the best ball overlay exposure tool. Shout out. And on my Calvin Ridley teams, I got 50% Pollard, right? So let's change it up. Let's get some Montgomery. I only had 2.6%. The Lions were the number 1 team in the league in points per game last season. Going to want a piece of that. For an RB3, it's not bad. The wide receivers are looking strong. CeeDee Lamb, Higgins, Ridley, and Golden. And I'm interested to try to get a CeeDee Lamb Dak stack with his new price. Dak's going more and more expensive, so I'm going to be taking him pretty aggressively here. I think I have Dak ranked. We can check that. I've got Dak ranked 114. So even 10 spots ahead of his ADP, I'm fine taking him. And that's generally, I'm taking him when I've got the stack with CD, right? So, or Pickens. Where did Pickens, I want to clock where Pickens and we already saw DK Metcalf went. Decaf. How come no one calls him Decaf? It's right there. It's right there for the taking. He could easily be Decaf. I'm more of a half calf or just a full caffeine. Even a red eye. I'll drink a red eye every once in a while. Pickens goes 57. Yeah, that feels about right. I've got Pickens ranked at 57. His ADP's 64, and it's moving up fast. So get him while you can. I'll take Pickens over Jalen Waddle. But that's about it. That's about right. I want Ridley. I want Jameson Williams. Diggs consistently going high. I don't know how much higher he can go, but that's another one on the clock here. Mooney. I moved Mooney up in my ranks a good amount. It's going to be a Mooney pick here. Great for best ball. Tons of big spike weeks last season. Strong 5 wideouts through 8 rounds. Looking good there. What up, Who Hames? How you doing tonight, sir? Hope your Friday night is going swell, and yeah, hope you're looking forward to this weekend. I know you might be doing some work this weekend. Shout out to you. And yeah, great streams this week too, my man. Great having you on. Who Hames came on. I think it was Tuesday night. It all kind of blurs together, but it was Tuesday night. Had Who Hames on the channel. A lot of fun, a lot of talking ball. And he has been streaming, getting after it too. It's going to be Fields here for me. I think Fields is the logical pick because of the Higgins, and I would like Dak on this team. I'm going to make it a priority to get Dak, but don't have to force it. I've got Fields now. He's going to keep rising. One of the things that Steve and I talked about last night, and actually, a lot of you guys in the chat are really high on Justin Fields. I know Who Hames is. Steve and I were saying last night we could easily see Justin Fields moving up the board this summer, passing Caleb Williams and Kyler Murray easily, passing Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes, pocket passers. Fields is a true, dual threat quarterback. He'll beat you with his legs. Other seasons we'd priced him all the way up here, with these other rushing quarterbacks. With the changing of the teams, the losing his job in Pittsburgh last year, he's fallen. He was a fine pick last year. Of course, he gets benched for Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was finally healthy from the calf strain, but I was drafting a good amount of Fields last year too. This year, he's got a starting gig in New York, and we're pretty confident he's going to play every game that he can. So I'm going to have a lot of Justin Fields even when he's expensive. Even if he's going where Mahomes is going, I still want Justin Fields. I'm not forcing it right now, but I'm going to take him whenever I can in round 9. So I'm fingers crossed that Dak comes back. Pick 117 to me. The Pickens drafter sniped us last night. So he's got Jaden Daniels here. He might not be thinking about Dak because he also could get Michael Penix or he might just want to go back to wide receiver considering he's only got 4. He could take a tight end here. I didn't see that coming. He takes Javonte well ahead of ADP. I'm going to be fading Javonte and Blue a little bit for right now. They've both gotten too expensive. The backfield's too ambiguous. I don't think that we're done seeing Dallas making moves in their backfield. Let's say they bring in J.K. Dobbins. Javonte goes undrafted potentially or goes much later. Blue probably goes back to where he was going in like the later rounds. Nowhere close to where he is right now. And then Dobbins is the guy you'd want. He'd be going probably in round 9. Maybe higher. What up, Nick Bach? How you doing tonight? What's going on? I think we're going to nail it. Worst case scenario, we get Jordan Love. I wouldn't hate that either. Goes nicely with the golden pick. I don't think I need Drake May or Herbert on this one. Dak, of course. Last call for running backs. Now I'm going to pass. Wide receiver is going to pass. I could take Kyle Williams and try to get Drake May, but it's not really worth it to me at this point. And then tight ends, nothing there that I have to have right now. That's an easy click for Dak Prescott. Stack him up with CeeDee Lamb. Hit the refresh. Let's check it out so far. Of my Prescott teams, 100% CD. I don't know that that's right, though. That's interesting because last night, Steve and I got a puppy team that we didn't get Dak, but we did have CD. So maybe I just needed to refresh. I thought I had just uploaded my CSV, but that's on me. Probably is just doesn't have the drafts from last night, if I had to guess. Maybe it's Underdog. Maybe the CSV they sent me, maybe it was the one from like 2 days ago. But I felt like these are pretty current. The Mooney one feels right. Mooney at 13% feels right. Somehow, T's not been really coming into me as much. I think running backs in this range, I'm going to cool on them. I could take Jordan Love here. It feels really good to do Love with Golden, be done at quarterback. I don't think it's a huge opportunity cost to miss out on these tight ends. Maybe there's a chance that either Kraft or Ferguson comes back around, but I don't have to get them. It's just kind of nice. I wouldn't mind Warren or Njoku either. Even Goddard by my ranks. Kincaid. I'm going to queue up some tight ends so I don't forget to grab one on the way back in round 12. Late tight end strategy. Might have to go 3 here. The wide receivers are feeling strong, so I could stop at 7. And then looking like we're going to have 3 quarterbacks and maybe 5 running backs. But this we'll see. Maybe I could get lucky and just take 2 tight ends. Or I could try to do that. It'd be a 3, 6, 7, 2. Does that make no? It'd be a 3, 3, a 3, 5, 7, 3, 6, 7, 2. That makes sense. Because I could take 5 running backs here. I feel like 6 would be good. Kind of like FF Explorer was mentioning at the top of the chat when we kicked off this draft. He was curious to know, like, in half-point PPR, are you going to be flexing a running back most weeks? Or are you going to be flexing a wide receiver? It depends. It depends. I think earlier I was saying the research was showing it's a slightly more likely to be filled with a running back. Maybe I think I have to double check that after this draft. I could be misremembering. Maybe that it's slightly more likely to be a wide receiver in any given week. What do y'all think? Would you prefer a running back or a wide receiver to be hitting your flex? This is best ball, so you don't typically control it, but draft capital wise is what we're getting into. Where how early do you want to have your third running back? Do you expect him to be hitting your flex most weeks, or your fourth wide receiver? I got mine in a similar range this time because I didn't take an elite QB and I didn't take an elite tight end. So my flex is probably going to be split pretty evenly between Montgomery and then Golden and Mooney. So it's kind of a bummer run out there. All the tight ends went. I like Goddard just fine. I could take him here. Just gonna do a quick one over. It's a lot of running backs I already have a ton of, so I'm not afraid to push it a little bit further. I'll grab the tight end here. Yeah, with Goddard staying in Philly, probably a good thing. There's not that many landing spots that would have been better. High scoring offense. He's got a certain role. If he can stay healthy this season, he'll pay back pick 141 easily based on what he's typically done. Maybe gives me a bring back for my CeeDee Lamb and Dak stack. Yeah, Who Hames, appreciate you being here, brother. Get after it tomorrow. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you in the streets again soon, my man. I do agree about Ramondre's price is getting better, but I'm still a Travion bull. Right. Yeah, with the flex, the running back situation. I know what you're saying. Taylor could be there much later, so I can kind of chill. I don't want to grab any tight ends right here. Wide out wise, I don't think so either. I think it's a running back here, and it's going to be probably just Algier. I've got a ton of them, but he makes the most sense on this team. He's going to be my highest exposed player now after drafting him here. I think he's just a great value. Pick 148. How come Zach Charbonnet on arguably a worse team, the Seattle Seahawks, arguably a worse team, Zach Charbonnet goes 40 picks, 30 picks higher than Algier? I know that Charbonnet has more pass catching upside and maybe just a tiny bit more contingent value that he could be kind of a workhorse in a few games like he was last season when Ken Walker was down. But I mean, Algier is he's also very good. He didn't catch the ball as much, I guess, but it's touchdown upside that we're looking for from the running backs in this range. I think the Falcons are going to be much better than the Seahawks. It's hard to pin exactly how good or bad the Seahawks will be with the quarterback change, losing DK Metcalf, new offensive coordinator. The list goes on. If I look back to last season, I'm going to pull up the Seahawks. 18th in points per game, so just outside of the top half. They were second in passing completions, though, and 11th in rushing touchdown rank. So pretty efficient on rushing touchdowns and throwing the ball a lot. They're not going to be throwing it as much, I think, with Darnold. Maybe, but I think Geno. I mean, Darnold was slinging it last year in Minnesota. I just don't know how much of that was scheme versus him taking a step forward. I think Dubs would be an easy click here. There's some concern that he gets traded. I don't mind the Thielen click. He's just good. Hashtag good at ball. And I don't the running back upside here is not I could go Eckler. I've got a lot of Eckler as well. Like I said, I'm gonna take Dobbs here just because I think he wouldn't come back around. Someone's gonna need a receiver, and the receivers here by ADP were looking pretty thin after Dobbs. His ADP is 160, and the next receiver was they're in the 70s. So people are gonna be tempted to grab him. I'm gonna go ahead and get him. I wasn't able to get Tucker Kraft, so anytime you can double stack a QB like Jordan Love, who gets 90 plus percentage of his fantasy points from passing the ball, you should aim to do that. Which brings me to Dak Prescott. I'm not going to take Tolbert in this range, but I would like to potentially get another stacking partner on the Cowboys. It's pretty thin right now. Running back wise, could be Dowdle. I probably should have gone Mason Taylor there now that I think more about it. Let me see if I get lucky and he comes back around. Probably didn't need Dowdle on this team. That should have been Mason Taylor. I don't know why I didn't have him queued up. Fields without a pass catcher is totally fine though. He's going to get about around half of his fantasy points from his rushing upside. So you don't need to stack him. I think Taylor can be pretty good though. A lot of guys in the chat high on Mason Taylor. And I like taking Mason Taylor in the late 70s, so that would have been pretty much spot on. Would have been pretty good to get him there. Of course, he goes pick 181. So I'll have to get him next time. I do have a decent bag of Mason Taylor, though. Let's go to this draft board. Looking for late tight end values. Kasecki's gone. Freiermuth's gone. Ertz is gone. Marshawn Lloyd be a nice piece here. Can get a late Schultz. Late Juwan Johnson. Jatavian, don't mind it. A lot of these teams have running backs. Lloyd's kind of at the top of the list. Ford would be nice if not for Lloyd. Let me go ahead and take Lloyd for the team stack that I've got. 3, 6, 7, 2 is what I'm building towards. I only need one more tight end. I'm going to hope that Goddard can hold it down and be more of a tight end 1 than a tight end 2 in kind of for fantasy this season. Schultz didn't really get replaced. Don't need Ford anymore. I need a wide receiver. Could be my last pick. I kind of like Ayo Menor here. I think I'll do that. He had a nice second-year breakout in college at Stanford. I've been off and on Ayo Menor. I was on him at a much higher price during the big board, so why not? Grab him here in the second to last round. I think it's a nice pick. Of course, I already had Calvin Ridley. So does he play next to Calvin Ridley in the starting lineup? I think so. Tennessee had one of the more thin wide receiver groups last season. Stop at 7 wideouts with CeeDee Lamb, Higgins, Ridley, Golden, Mooney, my top 5. And then stack for Dubs, team stack for Ellick. Last pick's going to be a tight end. Juwan Johnson, very happy to click. And then Jatavian Sanders, go for a little bit of upside with the Panthers. They could do more than they did last season. Otherwise, what else could I hit up? Okonkwo would be interesting. It just becomes a lot for a lot of Tennessee. I'm betting on maybe Ayo Manor to take a role towards the end of the season. Okonkwo is pretty good. Over 100 receptions last 2 years combined. Over 1,000 yards. Only 3 touchdowns. So not bad. Probably more comparable to Goddard than he'd like to admit. Goddard had the injury, of course, but while missing games in the last two healthy seasons, he's just a tad better, right? 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns. So just a league better, a whole league step up. Didn't get any rookie running backs in this one. Kind of a rare thing to do. And then the only 2 rookies on the squad are Ayo Manor and Golden. I kind of was thinking I would go with another Cowboy, but it didn't come around in the right way. I'm not going to force it. Same thing for the Jets. There's nothing there. Take Juwan Johnson. And with Juwan, he's been very serviceable in fantasy over the last 2 seasons. And I don't think I think he has missed some time too, but he easily can put up, 500 yards a season, 3 or 4 touchdowns. What is Taysom Hill's role going forward with the injury towards ACL at the end of last season? This one ends up being 3672 build. And I think it came out pretty nice. If you get CD and Dak together, you've always got a chance that it's the pairing you need. I'm high on the Packers. They're a top 5, I want to say, scoring offense last season. They've added a new weapon in Golden. I think he can consolidate some of the target share. Top 8 in points per game last season. Pretty good. Pretty good for the Packers. Ranked 10 in passing touchdowns, so top 3rd, and then 5th in rushing attempts. So don't sleep on Josh Jacobs. He's still the engine of this offense. 5th in rushing touchdowns, 5th in rushing attempts, 5th in rushing yards. Pretty much all of that goes right to Josh Jacobs. And 2nd in the average depth of the reception or catch, 12.8 yards per reception. That's pretty nice. So loves throwing downfield, and I think that could work out nicely for Golden. Could definitely work out nicely. How you doing tonight, Pat? And we also got Tim coming back. Yeah, Tim D loves Josh Jacobs. Got the flex going. What up, buddy? How's your Friday night going? Just wrapped up your stream. I'm assuming was catching a little bit of that earlier as I was putting the kiddos down. Just wrapped up this 20-second puppy. Time for another one, guys. Let's get into it. So 3672 build. Not a 3672 is not something that I build super often, but not opposed. And yeah, Fields, Prescott, Love, solid QBs. The running backs, good enough. A lot of veterans, no rookies there. The wideouts, strong to the first 5. A little bit of rookie upside with Golden, Ellick, Ayo Manor. Tight ends are good enough. Punt tight end, a little bit. Still, I think Goddard's a fine pick. So let's get the tunes going. Let's get into the lobby. Let's get into the draft. Loading this draft up. 20-second puppy. Going to be entering it in the next couple seconds. Considering we talk about it right now, probably entering it. You should too. Let's go. 4 more. No doubt. No doubt. Jacobs has had some ups and downs. Some years good, some years bad. But the Packers are funneling their offense through him. Jordan Love's taking deep shots down the field when they're not running the ball. What up, Bud Daddy? How you doing tonight, my man? How's your Friday night going? We're kicking things off with the second 20-second puppy of the stream. Much more to come. The night's young. Got some regulars in here. I see King of Kings, Anthony in the 8th spot. We're vibing. In the 7th spot, on certain days when there's a lot of news and a lot of ADP changes, I'd like to be in the middle of the draft board so that I can take advantage of fallers and taking guys a little bit ahead of where they might need to go. On a day like today, though, I don't think as much has changed. All we saw today was the rookies getting some reps in, wearing their new numbers. Scatabo was 44. That's all I really remember. I don't know if anyone else had any numbers worth remembering. I don't know if it matters at all, but we saw rookies running around in shorts with new numbers on and their bright and shiny helmets. Everyone's getting pumped. So I'd rather be in the first 4 or 5 picks or the last 2 picks right now. My man, killing it. And AZ, very nice. Probably getting hot right about now. Get yourself a cool drink. Dip in the pool. Very nice. Disbanded, how you doing tonight, brother? Rippin'. Yeah, and we're hooking them. You already know. All right, what's the move here? It's been a while. Genty or Neighbors? Apparently, I haven't drafted from this spot in a while. I've got Genty and Neighbors ranked ahead of Puka for right now. Let's roll with Genty. Let's hit the Genty clip. Let's get it. Can you imagine hitting the Mock Arena with your boys after scoring a 50-yard touchdown on a blue field in front of dozens of fans? I'd say hundreds of thousands, but there's not that many people up watching Boise State. I stayed up a few nights last year late to catch the 10 p.m. kickoff on the Mountain West Pacific Coast games. There was one game they were playing against Hawaii. It was a 10 p.m. kickoff. Stayed up just to watch Genty stunt on some unfortunate players that probably won't ever make it to the NFL. But he was doing his thing. I think he'll be good. Perfect spot to grab the lad. Another player I'm higher on. Could have been an interesting build. I might have to do this because if I look at my exposures with the best ball overlay, I can see my Genty teams. I want to see what I've gotten so far. It's probably, I was going to guess lad, but yeah, one lad in Best Ball Mania, it looks like. Genty teams. Or no, that really would be a puppy then. That'd be one puppy, considering I've gotten 3 Genty teams. They're all puppies. Makes more sense now. It would be nice to get Genty with another really highly ranked running back. I probably haven't done that. Yeah, I haven't done that. That might be the move. Pull up JT or Bucky Irving, pair him with Genty, get a falling Derrick Henry could be nice. McCaffrey if you get really lucky. I think I had a shot to get some Genty. Well, everyone had a shot to get Genty McCaffrey during the big board. If you were smart enough to do it, you're probably feeling good about that now. Yeah, I think he's for real too. I like what I'm seeing with Genty. He's getting projected all the touches. Raiders offense is going to be way different than it was last year, right? No doubt. Complete tackle breaking machine, yards after contact. You guys already know. It's going to be exciting. We're not going to have to stay up until 10 p.m. just to watch Genty, bust off a huge run in the Mountain West. He's going to be in prime time. I'm sure they'll get some games of him. The Raiders will play the Chiefs, maybe a primetime game. All the good combinations. Hey, next time you're in Vegas, maybe plan it around a home game. Stick around a little bit later on Sunday. Fly home late. Get to see Genty in the flesh. Be nice. JSN, I should get him here. I don't have enough. And I have him ranked just kind of a little bit behind ADP. So I've got him ranked a couple spots behind. What player there that I have ranked ahead of JSN? It was Rice. It was probably just Rice. Maybe Chase Brown. So this is nice. Getting my exposures up on players I don't have enough of. JSN's one of those. And I'm a big fan. I was arguing for JSN to go in the second round during the big board. I was saying, yeah, take JSN ahead of a lot of these guys. I've cooled on that stance just a bit. I still like JSN in the top of the third. When Geno Smith left town, that kind of bit of a red flag for where the Seahawks are going, what direction they're going. Let's look here at the data. The Seahawks last season, and they're going to be completely different this season, right? Second in passing completions, kind of middle of the pack points per game. They were 5th ranked in the league for receiving yards per game, 257. So it's going to be a lot different, even without DK there. Speaking of DK or Jaden Daniels, I haven't taken Hampton in a while, probably for the best. Jaden Daniels. I don't want to skip out on Jaden Daniels. I'm going to take a ton of Jaden Daniels. Saves me from having to ever draft Sam Darnold. And then, Herbert, maybe you get lucky. Herbert falls a little bit into a range where you feel good about taking him as your QB2 and then you're done. I don't want to take a lot of quarterbacks before round 10 if I don't have to with the Jaden Daniels. So can I get Herbert at 127? I don't think so. It'd be nice if it happens. Let's build out some other stacks in preparation for missing Herbert at 127. Could always go late Geno. This might be a team to target Jakobi Meyers on for real. Man, we're in a tough spot. I don't know if Meyers falls to 79. 66 is a bit rich for him, but I'm willing to do it. I don't want to force it though. Ooh, I like that. I like that one. So you took Genty early with one of your top 4 picks, and then you're able to get JT and Bucky fell around to the third. I love getting Bucky in the third round in the big board. I have a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Bucky team or 2. I know that it's not super rare, but it feels good. Guys, I don't want to jinx this, but if Hampton comes back around, snatching him up, McConkey and Hampton would be sweet. Let's see what King of Kings is going to do here. I would be surprised at all if he took Hampton, but he does have Gibbs and Taylor. He takes Pickens. Holy smokes. I was just saying I needed more Hampton. I'm going to get him. Whoa, a big scoop. I'm going to have to throw this in the Pounders Discord and kind of show this one off. Shout out to the boys. Yeah, fingers crossed. Made it work. Let me get back up here. Dang. Hampton, 11 spots past ADP. Let me show y'all what that means. So from 44 to 55, if we look at the draft capital curve, 44 is worth 64% of a Jamar Chase. 55 is worth so 44 and 55, 55.6%. That's 8.3% of draft capital we just picked up. That's huge. That's the biggest scoop I've gotten in probably the last 10 drafts. To put it into perspective, the relative value of going between a pick between 44 to 55, huge. That's an entire round of value. It really saves my ass on getting Jaden Daniels. It's like I've got 2 fourth-round picks. So I'm loving it. Of course, I've got 2 rookie running backs. Henderson's going to be here at a nice value, but I probably need to pivot away structurally. Let me see. I'm in the middle of the board, so I'm scooping up this fall. I called it. I said I was in the middle of the board. I was going to scoop up the falling values, and it's exactly what I'm doing. I normally don't take Debo. I don't have any Debo, but I've got a nice little Jaden Daniels stack. I think I'm going to make an exception. Take him at ADP, connect the dots, get the stack. Feels, I don't know. I think Debo can still hit the lineup. I'm going to do some research real quick. Let's see what we got for Debo last year. Quickly hitting the lineup. Sorry for the non-dark mode on those tables. Debo going into age 29 season, was injured all last year, didn't play a whole lot, wasn't as good as normal. Okay. Best ball points added. Pretty bad. Okay. Pretty bad. Although that is last season. Can we look at 2023 where he had a better season, kind of more in line with a higher upside that he likes to bring out. Not his best season, but good enough. 2023, how many best ball points did Debo add? He was number 12 overall, and I think that's based on wide receivers. I need to confirm that, but yeah, 12th for wide receivers in a good but not his best year. We've got a minute. Let's look at his best year if we can. So it would have been 2021. I think we can go back there. 2021 in best ball, he was number 3 overall as wide receiver. It's a couple, 4 years ago, but if Debo can do anything this year and bounce back in the slightest way, I think he can add points to a best ball roster. I don't hate taking him as my wide receiver 3 when he's stacked. Otherwise, I'm completely fading him just because of the injury concern and he's on a new team. But look at what Jaden Daniels did to elevate Terry McLaurin. He's always been kind of a middle of the road wide receiver. Never a true wide receiver 1. Boom, 16 touchdowns across the regular and the postseason. I could do it with Mooney. Bit of a reach. Caleb's there. Let me grab Caleb. Well, let me do Montgomery again. because there's a chance I don't think Caleb will come back around. There's a chance I can get Mooney to come back around, and with Hampton and Genty, do I want Caleb as well? I don't know that it makes a big difference. We'll see. The Steelers could be good, could be bad. Probably be just all right. The Lions are going to be good. Montgomery can go from a flex to an RB1 if anything were to happen to Gibbs. Let's hope nothing happens, but I don't see Swift with the same contingent upside. Even though Swift is assuming he's the running back 1 in his own team, the running back 2 for the Lions is just worth so much more. But, Swift did put up a career year last year, 193 total points across the year, not necessarily best ball points. Montgomery, for comparison, 203. So the RB2 is worth more in Detroit than the RB1 is worth in Chicago. Crazy. Back on the board, Mooney's still there. Could do Hawkinson. Don't feel like I need to, though. And Egbuka's there. But I like Mooney just a little bit ahead. And Hawk in my ranks, he's right there too. Brian Robinson could be an interesting pick. I need a receiver, though. I'm going to go Mooney again. So going off my own ranks, getting somewhat similar teams in these middle rounds, both this team and the last one with Montgomery and Mooney. I don't have a lot of Hawkinson. I need to get more. I had much more Hawkinson in the big board. A lot more J.J. McCarthy stacks. Brian Robinson would have been the pick there if I had reached up and taken Mooney or another wide receiver the previous round and skipped on Montgomery. So maybe like a Burden or still just a Mooney. And then, so for being patient on Mooney, I get the benefit of getting Montgomery, slight value, 7 picks past ADP, instead of getting Robinson, who, in my opinion, a similar argument to the Cowboys running backs. Robinson is only going where he's going because he's the assumed starter for Washington. But if he's not the starter, if he loses the job, or if someone comes in and competes for snaps, he's not an efficient running back. He's not a very good pick. He's very touchdown dependent. Doesn't catch the ball much either. So I'm sticking with Jaden Daniels without Brian Robinson. Obviously, you can get Eckler later, which I've been doing a ton of. I think every single team I drafted in the big board that had Jaden Daniels had Eckler because he was going anywhere from pick 180 to 200 for a long time. Let's see what King of Kings is going to do here. He's got Caleb Williams and Odunze. Quite a nice little run of wide receivers there. I like those all together. I can poke holes in Odunze and Pearsall alone, but as a group, I like those 5. He gets Trey Harris. Jordan Mason could be the pick. Could be Colston Loveland. I think I'm going to go Mason here. Right, we're getting close to that pick that I was planning for. I was planning to take, early on I called it out, I was planning to get Herbert at 127. I don't think it's, we'll see if it works out. Herbert at 127, I would have taken Trey Harris there at 103 instead of Jordan Mason. Maybe get a double stack for the Chargers. But I love the Jordan Mason click. I think a flippening could be on the horizon where Jordan Mason flips Aaron Jones in ADP before the summer's over. I'm calling my shot. I think that's one of them. I think Jordan Mason's an explosive runner. Aaron Jones has been good for fantasy for a long time. He can still be good, but he's never been a workhorse. He's always been in a committee backfield. And Jordan Mason proved when he came in for McCaffrey last year, that he can hold down the role. Of course, Garindo is still getting some work in the passing game, but that could be, Aaron Jones getting work in the passing game, Mason on the goal line, Mason getting a lot of the high value touches. Jordan Mason could have huge touchdown upside with the Vikings. If I take Herbert here, what do I miss out on? A Tootin or a Loveland, which is kind of a high price, and then a wide receiver would be Coleman. I'm gonna go Coleman there. He's been rising a little bit, and I think he should continue to rise. Right at ADP, gives me my 5th wide receiver. I thought about going Loveland. I'm really strong at running back. I could be done at running back with 4 and build kind of this hyper fragile from this early position. Go with a super late tight end approach. Could still do 2. Don't necessarily need 3. But then again, I wouldn't need to. If I would only go hyper fragile with 4 running backs, if I did end up taking those 3 tight ends, it would be like a 3, 8, 4, 3. But I don't know. I'm not going to take 3 QBs as a thing, so I probably do still end up with some kind of like a 2-6-8-2 build. So I'm going to push running back. I don't need to draft the running back for quite a while now. Kraft would be good. I'm pretty much in my ranks. I'm kind of fading Warren, a little bit of Njoku, a little bit of Kincaid. Where did Tootin go? Right after I picked Keon Coleman. It would have been a lot to get my 5th running back here. It would have been a lot of draft capital, 5 running backs through 5 rounds. I think that was the move to get the 5th wide receiver. Yeah, the draft in the 4th spot taking Drake May, but not getting Kyle Williams. I hope he has Diggs for his sake. He doesn't. He's got Travion, though, so it could be worse. I like the fact that he takes Stroud with his Jaden Higgins. That's going to save me maybe for a second. King of Kings probably does need a QB, and he goes Dak with his CD. No, he's got Dak with Pickens, of course. So he's got less correlation with Trey Harris. Herbert makes it back around. Pretty nice grab for me here. Could be done at quarterback with those 2. Getting Herbert at a value with Hampton at a huge value. And because I want to see where Myers went too. If I had Myers on this team, I'd be tempted to get Geno then. But so Myers, he deserves to go in round 6. He's good. It's the most expensive we've ever paid for him, but it could be the best position he's ever been in with Geno as his quarterback on the Raiders now. All those years on the Patriots, if I took Myers at 70, then I just wouldn't have the Debo stack. I didn't have to force the Debo stack. It was right at ADP, so I think if it still feels good. Yeah, Putt Daddy's excited to take Jordan Mason in Best Ball Mania. I'm not going to stop drafting him. I'm going to be drafting Jordan Mason when he flips Aaron Jones, just like I'm predicting. So I'm going to have a ton of them. And I think on a Best Ball Mania roster, he's a really good pick. Really good pick. What do y'all think? Are you bullish on Jordan Mason, guys? Or do you think he is a little bit overvalued now? It could, if you frame it if you've been drafting all offseason and you frame it as like, well, he used to be pick 140, he used to be pick 170, we're paying a lot for him today. If you frame it that way, he doesn't seem like a great value. But if you look at where he could continue to keep going, he's risen up every week of the tournament. I'm going to go Knoll here. It's a little early. 138 to 50. Doesn't cost me too much draft capital, though. Let's go back to the table. Between pick 138 and 150, I only lose. Sorry, I keep doing that. 138 and 150. It's worth about 3.5 points. 3.5 points of draft capital. The closing line value on Knoll could be really nice, though. I wonder if Higgins or Knoll is the Texans receiver you want. Knoll's a little bit cheaper, so I'm happy to gamble on it. Gamble on it and get him later as my wide receiver 6. Get some rookie upside on this in this room. I passed again on tight end. I just didn't feel great about it. Both of the tight ends for the Chargers and the Commanders go super late. For the Chargers, it's a toss-up, though. It's going to be split between Conklin and Disley, so it's not super attractive. Ferguson should take a little hit with Pickens there now, so I don't want to grab him ahead of his ADP either. And if Quentin Johnston is there, I would consider taking him with my next pick. Right about ADP, stacked up nicely. Let me look at my Commanders. It's Eckler and Ertz. Tight end wise, it'd be like Strange or Likely. Don't really work for this team. I think there's a good chance Ertz is still there. So I'm going to go ahead and get Quentin Johnston. I've got 4 Chargers on this team. The thing with the Chargers is, which tight end do you need? Which tight end do you want? Are they going to middle it? Is either one of them worth anything? So I'm good with getting 2 wide receivers and a running back to go with Justin Herbert. There's a little bit of an ambiguity at the tight end position that's not necessarily worth gambling on if I'm going to do a 2 tight end build either, and a late one. Hopkins at 157. It's kind of crazy. Wandale 56. That's get guys their name. Christian Kirk, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Pacheco, Khalil Shakir, Jawan Jennings, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey. This entire team in the 12 spot is just get guys their name. Could work. I don't want to draft that way, though. Eckler starting to rise up. That's a good, justified reason to take him there. He's healthy, not getting the concussions. He's going to get a lot of passing work in that offense. Ertz is the pick here for me. Undoubtedly. Go ahead and do it. Lock it in. Resurgent year for his career last season. Okay, just looking at my team, it's a 2-4-7-1 build with Ertz going late tight end. Could do 3, could stop at 2 if I get something else nice here that would pair well with the rest of the team. We've taken a pause on running backs, but I think it's time to venture back over to the running back group. Maybe take 1 or 2 in the next couple of rounds. Daniels, Herbert. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other pairings that I would like with like a Daniels and Herbert. Running back wise, I mean, it could be anyone. And then receiver wise, I think I'm done with my stacks. I've got the 7, right? So it could be a 2-7-7-2. I just don't think I need that much at running back to go 3 more. Pretty much it's dealer's choice. Go 3 tight ends, go 2 tight ends, stop at wide receiver, take another one. I'm going to see. I don't think there's any other quarterbacks I would want to add unless it's around. I'm going to leave the option for around 18 Darnold or, yeah, it would just be Darnold at this point. I'm going to leave the door open, leave a light on for around 18 Darnold would be a nice value. Can't pass up on it. Other than that, okay, so if I left myself that option, then it's the ability to take the third QB instead of the third tight end, and it's probably going to be a 2-6-7-3 or a 3-6-7-3. 3-6-7-2. Kind of like the last one. So let me grab a tight end that I feel good enough about. And then hit these running backs. There's also not really a running back here that I love. Pick 175. Might be Roschon. Could be moving him up the ranks. Or Dobbins, of course. I have Neal ranked higher, but I don't really like clicking him. Definitely going Strange here. Well past ADP. And gives me the ability, like I said, to stop at 2 tight ends. And then if there's around 18 QB, that would be just worth scooping up. It'd be pretty nice. So for a comparison, I got like 8.5 points of draft capital on the Omarion Hampton fall. On the fall for Strange, 150, let's call it 159 to 175. That's only worth 75 to 59 is worth 1.5 points. So 1.5 points of draft capital across 16 picks. But if you get 11 picks in the 40s and 50s, it's worth so much more. Ridiculously more. Part of the game. Part of the draft strategy. Closing line value, which means getting the players at an ADP that by the time the tournament closes, their ADP has risen above that. So you're buying a stock that's going to keep rising. That's why I like Jordan Mason so much. He seems to clearly be in that bucket. Roschon is still there too, so he would have been the guy I considered taking. I think I am going to take Roschon here. Round 16. Yeah. Let me do some Roschon. Another one there. Pat Bryant and I was kind of out on Michael Wilson, but I might be back in. Just when you think you're out, you're right back in. So Michael Wilson, he doesn't have so much competition. I can make the same argument, though, that I've been saying of why I'm a slight fade on McBride since the big board. It's just, what is Kyler Murray's real ceiling? Yeah, I know, Putt Daddy. It's crazy. How you doing, Josh? The worst strength of schedule this year. How many games does Russ start before we see Dart? I did notice some of that too. We saw a lot of those charts come out on Twitter recently. Something I asked Steve, I said last night, do you think this is a Drake May, Jacoby Brissett situation? And he said no. He kind of had Russ starting most of the season. So we'll see. I would agree, Coolers. I would definitely agree with what you're saying about Neal. Is it Neal? Is it it could be Kendre Miller. Could be Taysom Hill if he comes back healthy at some point in the season. I don't even know if he's fully under contract. I assume he is. What else on the Saints? Let's look at my model real quick. Throw it over here. I'm gonna pop in the Saints. Y'all be able to see it below my camera. Kamara, Neal, Miller, Clyde Edwards, Velus Jones. Velus Jones is listed as a running back. That's kind of hilarious. All right, 2 picks left. One of them's a running back, and then one of them's dealer choice. Could be a wild card. Jarquez, been taking a lot of him. Maybe go Marks this time. Just change it up. Boom. Go Woody Marks, something different. By ADP, it could be Ford. I think he could have a role too. I know Ray GQ's been pretty high on Marks. So I'll grab a little Marks here. Big time rookie running back group. 2 up the top, 1 in the back. And then again, I've got Marks and Noel. So thinking back to like my team stacking the Texans, that feels pretty nice. I don't need any more running backs. I could take a running back. I don't really need one. I could take anything. It could be a 3-6-7-2. Could be 7 RBs. If I just don't know who would be there that I would really want to go 7 RBs. Could easily be 8 wide receivers or 3 tight ends. So Darnold went. I don't have any reason to go with the other quarterbacks. So that's the end of the quarterback discussion. Tight end and wide receiver. Juwan Johnson would be nice. It might make sense to go tight end. Super upside pick with Fannin would be kind of cool. Haven't drafted him in a while. It's weird though. Why would you draft your tight end 2 on any team in best ball? Seems like a bad pick. Maybe better in Dynasty. Does Wicks keep his job? Does he lose his job? There he goes. I like Felton fine. I don't know what he does for this team though. Sanders could be interesting. Franklin. I'm going to go Franklin here. Could be 2-2 or even 2-2. Noah Brown or even Roman Wilson. There goes Roman Wilson. I wanted to see Calvin Austin go too because I didn't see him in the drop down. Ended up going wide receiver. Go figure. Once Juwan Johnson went is when I kind of made my decision to pivot to wide receiver. And Sam Darnold didn't fall at all. He went in round 15 to Anthony's team. Let's check it out. My 27th puppy. Can you believe it? Did not think I'd be doing this many puppies, but I'm enjoying it. Given a pause from Best Ball Mania. And I think a lot of people are. So these puppy rooms have been quite nice. Not the typical puppy crowd where we saw what happened in the 12 spot, of course, but in general, I think it's been fine. Yeah, FK. We saw CEH, on the depth chart for the Saints. Very interesting. What up, Dad? How you doing tonight, my man? Happy Friday, everyone. Hope your week went well, and I hope you got something to look forward to this weekend. I am probably looking to go to the Houston Museum of Natural Sciences tomorrow. Go about once a year. Really nice museum, really well done. Great exhibits. They have a butterfly exhibit, incredible. Multi-story indoor terrarium, hundreds of butterflies hatching every day in there, and then all these different kind of species they grow, and it's a great experience. Fun to take little kids to. Indoor waterfall, fun. Giant place, a lot of exhibits, and it's going to be probably raining tomorrow. And if it's not raining, it's going to be super hot. So instead of going to the park or the zoo outdoors, let's go inside and look at some natural history and science, cool stuff. That's probably what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to that. I like doing that kind of stuff with my kids. It's really fun. And then, yeah, just hanging with the fam, drafting some more. Probably go live again tomorrow night. Oh, if you weren't here at the beginning, um, Bindles kid dropped in. He and I have been cooking something up. I almost want to share it now. I almost want to give a sneak peek. I know Bindles is live too, but we've been cooking something up in the background. We've been sending emails. We've been talking. We've been chatting. We had some calls today, some business decisions we had to make. Something's coming out on the schedule. It's going to be exciting. You're going to want to stick around for it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna put out like somewhat of an official stream schedule this week once I make this announcement with Bindles and what we're going to be doing, and some other things too. Other guests I have coming on this week. We had a great week. We had, going back to last week, last Friday night, 4-hour draftathon mega stream with none other than the Fanspeak Network, Meg and Steve. Steve was on last night as well. Great stream. Emo Cowboy was in that one. We drafted an eliminator. Then PPR Tyler came on for some puppies. Best Ball Guy came on. Cody from Off the Schneid came on. Pat from the Fantasy Dog Pound stopped by at the end. That was a really fun stream. That was last Friday. If you haven't seen it yet, it could be a fun one to check out. And then since then, PPR came on again on Sunday. His power went out. Had Bindles on Monday. Had Huhames on Tuesday. Had Steve on Thursday. Wednesday was just me. And then tonight, just me for tonight. But it's Friday night. And we're going to be drafting a lot more teams. Just finished up a 20-second puppy. Another one coming in about, let's call it a minute or two. So get it queued up if you want to draft in this next one. We had Anthony in this one. We had King of Kings in this one. 2682 build. Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert. Pretty sexy quarterback room, if I have to say so myself. Genty, Hampton. Guys, if you didn't see the pick, look at this Hampton pick. He slides 11 spots. That's worth like 8% of a Jamar Chase right there in draft capital. The best scoop I've made in the last probably week of drafting right there. Maybe there's one better, but that high up the board, that's like getting another 4th round pick in the 5th round. So I've gotten Daniels and Hampton out of the 4th round range. Some good running backs, some veterans, and then Marks. The receivers stacked McConkey and Samuel. I don't take Deebo Samuel, but I wanted to stack this time, and it was at ADP, so I didn't feel egregious about it. JSN, let's get that exposure up. Although, like I said, the Seahawks are moving in the wrong direction. Mooney, very high on him right now. Coleman, why not? The back end, some guys like a Johnston or a Franklin that can catch a bomb down the field. Stop at 2 tight ends. Feels pretty good. Jason, the world famous Huron River Rat. How you doing, my man? Have to do another draft. We're queuing it up right now. I mean, if you say so, if you want to get in this one, let's do it. Let's queue it up. I'm joining right now. If you're hearing me talk about it, I've already joined probably. Let's get in. 8 more people. You guys are on it. Did I grow a mustache in one day, says Joshua? Looking a little scratchy. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Boom. 2 more people. You guys got in here quick. You guys are in here. I grow a mustache in one day. Man, somehow, some way. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about these rookies. Just seeing them in their colors today, their numbers, the helmets, the shorts. It's exciting stuff. I did see a little bit of just a little bit. Who didn't see? It's going to be the number one media spectacle for a while. A little bit of the Browns of Jeffrey. So I saw a wobbly pass out of Sanders. Apparently they're running half speed. I think who was it that Dylan Gabriel connected with? Do you know, Jeffrey, on that pass? I thought I saw Dylan Gabriel connecting with one of the receivers. I don't know if it was a starter. It couldn't have been a starter. So obviously, but it would have been, maybe it was Harold Fannin. Let me know. We got Jason in the 1 spot, Coolers in the 3, King of Kings again in the 6. Hope you're having a great night, King. Thanks for drafting with us tonight. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm in the 10 spot. Nice for me. It's a 20-second puppy. Third puppy of the night. Let me throw on some tunes, do a little stretch, and let's kick this puppy off. Yes. Okay, I did see that, Jeff. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to talk some rookies. What did you guys see today? What else did you see? We watched a little bit of the Browns. Did we see a little bit from the Giants, the Raiders? Who else was dressed today? Appreciate you all being here, drafting tonight. The drafts are going to keep flowing. I mean, if you like best ball drafts, if you like fantasy football content, we've got a great community in the chat here. A lot of sharp drafters, ball knowers, love talking about current NFL happenings, player movements. We've been talking dynasty lately. I have a dynasty rookie draft kicking off with the Fantasy Sanctuary. Got Tom in there. Also got Kev from the Fantasy Wildcard and a few other Discord members from the Fantasy Sanctuary. So we're going into the third year of our dynasty league, and that rookie draft, it only has 3 rounds, 12 teams, 3 rounds. It starts Sunday night UK time. I'll probably be, I guess, Saturday night technically. Get some neighbors. Very nice. Neighbors in the 10 spot? Yes, please. So I guess the draft is supposed to start Sunday morning. It's a slow clock in the UK. So I guess that's like in the middle of the night Saturday for me. So I have the 10th pick. I finished 3rd in the league. I should have won it, but can't always win it. I had a pretty decent squad. I still do. I have Jordan Mason on that one too. Very nice. Long story short, I have the 110, the 210, the 310. Haven't traded any of my picks yet. Maybe considering trading back down out of the 110 to like the 202 range and getting a second round pick or something like that. Could be nice. I'm going to go AJ Brown. I'm going to skip Bowers just for a minute. I want to get Malik Neighbors with another elite wide receiver. AJ Brown's the guy. But yeah, so we're talking rookie content, drafts, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know, Thad. I'm gonna fade Debo. It was just that one draft. I promise I won't do it again as long as you're here. Diggs was doing some drills and moving well. We've seen that. And then Josh sucked for his first 2 years. Yeah. Talking about Josh Allen. I remember a long, long time ago, it must have been, I don't even remember what season it was when Josh Allen entered the league. It was Josh Allen's rookie year. So I gotta check this because it's driving me nuts not to remember. Was that 2018? I'm gonna guess 2018. It could have been 17, but I think it was 18. 2018. And my buddy calls me up. It's week 14 or 15. It's the redraft, fantasy playoffs. It's the finals. and his QB was injured. I forget who it was at the time. Let's just say whatever starter it was injured. He's desperate. He needs a quarterback play. He phones me. He's like, Chris, Candyman, you know ball. Who should I start in fantasy this week? And I, with a straight face, I told him Josh Allen. We're going to have to look through the game logs, but Josh Allen scored 2 points that week, and my friend lost. And he doesn't call me for fantasy advice anymore, but that's okay. You don't always win them, and it's better to lose for someone else than it is yourself. What are you going to do? Game logs, 2018. Was it 2 points or was it just 11 points? I'm probably exaggerating. Might have been his sophomore year. No, week 17. Maybe it was week 17. No. It wouldn't have been because he hit there. Which week could it have been? 16? 22? I mean, 11 points is not as bad as I thought it was. Maybe it was 2019. 2019 makes sense too. Was it 2019 week 17? That seems weird to have your fantasy championship in week 17. He didn't play that week. Was it 2020? I don't think so. Everyone knew who he was by then. Yeah, it wasn't 2020. So he put up 11 points. I might have exaggerated the 2 points, but that's just how memory goes. Worthy at 33 is very aggressive in my ranks. Could be Kyron. I have Kyron further back, Brees further back. Let me go with T-Mac here, and let's hit the T-Mac clip. Hype. Look at those catches. Spin moves. Back on the clock. Breece Hall seems obvious. Travis Hunter's pretty sweet too. Is Breece Hall a trap pick? I mean, he does put up some numbers. I'll take a Breece Hall. It's been a while. I really did want to take Hunter there. Maybe should have gone Hunter. I don't know. The last team we drafted previously was Jaden Daniels, so I didn't feel too tempted to take Jaden Daniels, pick 39. What up, Tyler? How you doing? How was the stream, my man? Caught the front end before I went live. Yeah, I saw those wobbly ones, Jeff. I did see that. It's interesting. Dillon Gabriel, I remember him. At OU. Didn't we beat him? I gotta pull up the game logs real quick. No, did Dillon... Come on, I think Dillon Gabriel... Yeah, won. Yeah, it was 2023, the Red River Shootout. Gabriel came and won that one in a close game against the Longhorns. That was the last season the Longhorns were bad. 2024. No, that was actually one of their fine seasons. That was 2023. Yeah, geez. That was not a bad season. They beat Alabama that year. Gabriel orchestrated a game-winning drive, 75-yard drive in over 1 minute, culminating in a 3-yard touchdown pass with 15 seconds left to secure the win. The Sooners beat the Horns. So that was 2023. I was thinking 2022 was the last year they were bad. So win some, you lose some. Dillon Gabriel has looked good at points in his college career. I think he could be an NFL backup. But who knows? People said the same things about Tom Brady. And then, Gabriel was in the Heisman running. He did pretty well at Oregon too. Yeah, I'm excited about Quinshon. I got Quinshon in my intro clip, and every time I see it, hypes me up. I like to say that he stiff arms people into the shadow realm. He knocks the life out of people the way he runs. Power runner. Big QJ fan here. In my ranks, I've got him pretty aggressively. I'm thinking about moving QJ back in my ranks just a little bit because of the worry about the split workload with potentially Ford and even Samson. But then again, Quinshon is not going to be dominant in the pass catching realm, so slightly limited in what he can do overall. But in this half point PPR format, he still could be the guy you need. I think it's a little bit of a steep price. Travion Henderson might have a higher floor. Yeah, Mixon, I knew for a fact Mixon wasn't going to come back to 58. Almost got lucky. This one could just be Ken Walker easily. I do take a lot of them. Maybe switch up to go to Kamara. I'm going to go Ken Walker. Ken Walker's fine. Although I worry about the Seahawks being not very good. The Saints are also potentially going to be not very good. Yeah, I've got Quinshon ranked at 62 overall, ADP 70. I think I'm going to move him back behind James Conner after talking with Steve last night. I think I'm going to continue to move Golden up. Golden's ADP keeps rising. I'm going to keep moving. Oh, that's actually, I was looking at Juwan Jennings ADP. But I'm going to keep Golden ahead of ADP for now. He's moving in the right direction. Nice. So being in the spot, it's like what comes back around. I was between Ken Walker and Kamara. Maybe I get both. Do I want both? 3 and 3? Yeah, it's kind of a nice build. Henderson's a lot of upside. Better team potentially. It's going to be thin at wide receiver when it comes back around, but this feels like a really good start at running back. So I've gone Neighbors, Brown, T-Mac, and then Brees, Ken Walker, Kamara. 3 and then 3. And I think all different teams, right? So spreading the love. It'd be interesting to see if a team took Anthony Richardson. I would think that would be interesting if he went somewhere else and had different results, but he just needs to get snaps, don't you think? I think he hasn't got enough snaps under his belt. You have guys like Tyler Shuck and Cam Ward who still have more total snaps at quarterback between college and the NFL, where they have 0 NFL snaps, but between college and the NFL, they have like twice as many snaps as Anthony Richardson does. I mean, Anthony Richardson could have stuck around in college potentially. Obviously, it worked out for him. He got drafted very highly, but he could have been coming out any of these last couple of years and gotten some more experience. So the Colts are not ideal, I guess. Yeah, Dart's going to be holding that tablet, no doubt, for a while at least, we think. And I do, Jason, I do like Brees in the 4th. I really like a few of these other players in the 4th too, like Mike Evans, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jameson Williams. Really fun 4th round pick. Zay Flowers, I like. Hunter, I want to get more of. Slight fade on James Cook. Great run out last season. Look at Jacoby Myers going 65 overall. That's bullish, but I like it. I like that. I think the 6th round's a good spot for Myers. I might need to move him up in my ranks a little bit. The 7th round is just so bad for wide receivers once you get outside of Diggs and Golden. You have Shakir and Pearsall. King of Kings, I know you like Pearsall. You've taken him in each of the last 2 drafts. And Romadunze, I think. We got to get you off that Pearsall pick. Got to help you with that one. Otherwise, sharp draft. Similar to your last team, it looks like. 2 running backs up top, and then you're hammering wide receivers. I guess you have DJ Moore and Odunze, so you're going for the double stack. So I won't hate on it too much, but I just think Pearsall is way overpriced. Unless you think he is the wide receiver 1 in San Francisco. And potentially that McCaffrey is not healthy and not going to play as much and not going to be their engine, and they got to pass more with Purdy. I'm going to make Mooney happen. 3 straight Mooney drafts. I've got him ranked aggressively. I think he's a really good pick here. Good wide receiver 4. Great for best ball. Could be in a good situation, and it gives me one more out at QB later. I've already missed out on Hurts, obviously. And then I'm not really drafting the Giants QBs as much. So Bryce, Penix Jr. could be the way out. Yeah, Cam Ward was kind of fine in college, not ever great. And he goes to Miami, has one good season. So that's concerning. That could be a bust potential. Do I just take Mahomes at pick 87? I don't have to, but I could. It's weird not having him with the other pieces. And then can I get Kelsey on the way back? And then like a Hollywood. Let me go Burden. Burden over Swift is a little bit aggressive. I'm still curious about how that running backfield shakes out. Do they bring in someone else? Do they bring in Dobbins? Swift had a career year last year. Do they change things up? I don't know. I've been taking a lot of Swift all summer long. Tons in the big board. Picks 110, 120, even 100. Running backs felt really good here, so I don't need to force the Swift pick. Could be a dead zone back kind of range. I even thought about going Mahomes, but it didn't seem like a fun thing to have to backstack and then risk it all on Kelsey and Hollywood. So Burden's the pick. Definitely a lot of upside. I've got a pretty heavy exposure to Burden. And like I was saying earlier, with Burden and Loveland, I want the cheaper pieces in the Chicago offense. If they're going to take a step forward and hit and be good, I want to get in on that at a cheap price, not pay up for Odunze or DJ Moore, who are already priced as if the offense is going to be much better than it was last season. 28th in total points scored, points per game, so not incredible, not a really great environment for fantasy scoring. Cedric Tillman lighting it up in fantasy. Yeah, that's a name for sure. I know Pat is really high on Cedric Tillman. At least he has been throughout the big board process and into these early drafts. On Pat's stream earlier tonight, I caught him talking up Cedric Tillman's rise just a little bit. I think he's gone up 14 spots in ADP recently, so he's on the radar. I'm not crazy about the Browns this year in fantasy. I do like Quinshawn. Judy's fine. And Njoku could be fine too. Yeah, so not a lot of good looks for Cam Ward. Appreciate the intel coming in, Jeff, and sharing some of your rookie thoughts from the camps today. Very good to know. That's what we're here for. Every night we're here drafting. We're adjusting our priors. We're testing out our hypothesis. We're learning something new, looking at data, drafting teams, having fun, talking ball, putting together bourbon lists. We'll share that in a minute. But all the guests we've had in the last week, we put together a pretty good bourbon list. It can only get better. Fields or Loveland? I'm going Fields. I've got Brees. Solves quarterback for a minute. Nice. Could still get Loveland on the way back. Don't need Goff. Don't need Herbert this time. I don't want Charbonnet on this team. Not a Drake May team. No Jordan Love. Don't need Andrews. Could be Tootin. A little bit of Tootin. Little bit of Tootin. Shaheed is kind of nice too. I don't know why I've got him ranked so much lower. I think it's because I have all the QBs pulled up. Loveland or Tootin? It's going to be Loveland. Like I said, I'll buy into the Bears. I want it cheap. And I got both these guys right about ADP. I'll take it. Would have had to reach a little bit for Tootin, but he would have been a good pick too. And then I need to rank Shaheed a little bit higher. Although it scares me. He's coming back from that meniscus injury. Not something that's fun to have to come back from. So a bit concerning, I would say. We're gonna look at the bourbon list. Let's look at the bourbon list while it comes back around to us in our next pick. I'm gonna queue it up. Perfect conversation topic for a Friday night. What's your favorite bourbon? We drafted. I almost forgot bourbon. What's your favorite bourbon? We drafted Luther Burden. That should have queued me up enough. Boom, sharing it. Let me do a different view like this, and then like that, and then well, that didn't work. That would work like there we go. I should you know what I should do is, and I'll do this for the next stream. We're gonna rename this the Burden Bourbon List or something like that. I'll work on the name. The Burden List. And we'll get a little cutout of Burden diving for a ball or something. This is the Bourbon List right now. We've worked on it over the last week with some of our guests that we've had in the last week. We had Steve give some insights. Who Hames gave some insights. A few others in the chat gave some insights. I included the ones that I was familiar with. Some of my favorites. Top of the list for me, Woodford Reserve. Like TX, if you're a Texas local, you know that one out of Fort Worth. Eagle Rare is nice. Garrison Brothers. Remus. Long Branch is shout out to the Minister of Culture. McConaughey, Nine Banded, and Still Austin. So a lot of Texas bourbons for me. Some good stuff. We'll work on the list. We'll work on the all of that. But give me your inputs. What do you guys want to see on the list? What should be on there? I'm not talking top shelf. We're not talking about Pappy. We can throw some scotch on there, but it's really a bourbon list. And it's not every bourbon you've ever had. It's the ones you prefer. May still being there is kind of enticing. I'm just going to take May and figure it out. 10 picks, 9 picks past ADP. So I know for a fact there's no Kyle Williams. He's long gone. The other part of it is I like having May and Fields in the same team. I've been doing that a little bit. A lot of rushing upside. Two of the better young running quarterbacks, except for Daniels, of course. So then Stevenson seems logical. Warren's a little bit of a value. Good at wide receiver. Pretty good at running back. Maybe I can push it. Maybe just get Warren here. Let me just get Warren. Let me just fade Stevenson a little bit more. The problem with Stevenson is he's not a good pass catcher. He caught 69 balls, put up 400 yards. That's awful. 33, 168. It's Travion's world, and we're just living in it. Ramondre is not going to be highly drafted next year. I don't think it's a good spot for him. I need to lower him in my ranks. I probably like Spears more now. And I think I like White more now too. I would still take him ahead of Algier. Let's go back to the board. It's been a while since I took running back, but I got 3 good ones. Got the 2 rookie tight ends. Kind of a crazy combo. Nice little 10-pick value on Warren, though, so it's hard to pass that up when I'm underexposed to him and I'm looking for an excuse to get him. Take advantage. Jaden Blue goes 129, just a bit rich for my blood. Let's see what's going on with y'all in the chat. Let me catch up on these bourbons. Blantons. By all of the exclamations and question marks, I think you're just trolling with the Blantons. That's not a name I'm familiar with off the top of my head. Let me Google it. Is it a good bourbon or is it like a plastic bottle bourbon? Oh, it looks nice. Blanton single barrel. I'm not familiar with that. It looks nice to me. That's probably out of my price range for a bottle. That's like $120 a bottle. It's pretty pricey stuff. That's like a gift bourbon. That's something you give your mother for Mother's Day if you're looking for a gift. Yeah, Maker's Mark, of course. Yeah. I don't put Maker's Mark on the list because it's more of like, I guess that's more of like, it's just a standard. Like, you got any Woodford? No? You got Maker's Mark? All right. Pour me a glass. You know, I'm not throwing a lot of blends on there, although TX is a blended whiskey. I don't have Crown on there. Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I agree. I've had that. I have a buddy that I've worked with who exclusively drinks that exact combination with 7-Up. Was it 7-Up? Yeah, or I have to think about it. Okay, it could be Penix here. Or I just push, go running back. I think it's Penix. Hunter Henry will be there. Hunter Henry will be there with my next pick, I hope. A little bit early still. Well, I don't need to see. I just took 2 tight ends, but I got Penix there. Finish out the QB room. Get the Mooney connection. I could have taken Bryce too. Maybe I should have waited on and taken Bryce. What is that though? 54 for Penix versus 46. So not that much of a fall. 59 versus 59 would have been ADP for Bryce. So I'm done at QB, obviously. Throwing a Palmer there. Doesn't look too bad. The running back's really dried up, huh? Keep pushing running back. I'm going to keep pushing running back. Take Palmer. If I had more of another second to look at it, I could have done something like Thielen and then taken Bryce. Thielen 163. And then take him first and then get Bryce on the way back around. Could have been something to do there. I still got to figure out how I'm going to stack Drake May now. Well, I've got one, probably one more receiver spot. If I'm going to, it'd be weird, you know, Hunter Henry's probably the best pick to get if he comes back around. Mason Taylor will be there again. Didn't get him last time. Might be nice to get him. Getting 3 rookie tight ends seems like not a great bet, but with Colston, Loveland, and Tyler Warren going in the first round, I'm here for it. I think you can justify it based on the stacks, based on what I'm trying to do. Let's see where we're at on the board. It's the 3rd puppy of the night. 20-second clock. It's coming back around. See what y'all are doing. Cedric Tillman at 145. pretty rich, but I think that's the range. It's kind of a dead zone for wide receivers, or just there's look how much green, purple, and blue is on the board in these last 4 rounds so far. Mixtures. I'm not familiar with that one either. So you guys are teaching me something new. This is good. But yeah, the turkey rare. I think it was. No, it was Mountain Dew. Holy shit! This guy liked to put his turkey rare instead of just drinking it neat or like on the rocks or over ice, as they say. He was putting it in Mountain Dew. Strange things. People do weird things. If you get to know them, they tell you what they actually like to drink. That's an interesting take, Jeffrey. I'm not really drafting backup quarterbacks in these best ball drafts since they're only 18 rounds, and I can't make any roster adjustments while they're live. So it's not really a prudent approach to do that. And then I've got my 3 QBs here. You probably said it before the Penix pick, but either you really think Dak's going to get hurt again and then Milton comes in and does something, or you're trolling and you just hate Dak, which could be a thing too. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm in Houston, so typically you get the whole city versus city thing within a big state. Houston fans don't like the Cowboys, don't like Mavericks, don't like the Rangers. I mean, I get not liking the Rangers. The Cowboys, whatever, fine. The Cowboys haven't been good as long as I've been alive, so they've hardly done anything. I mean, I guess the Super Bowls are long gone history by now, 30 years ago. So Giddens, Dobbins. Give me 2 Dobbins. I think Dobbins has more juice. Giddens obviously the rookie coming in. When's the last time we saw a K-State running back hit in the NFL? A little bit of trivia for you. The answer is Darren Sproles. And he entered the league in 2005. So since then, there's been 0 good running backs out of K-State. I don't know if that's just bad coaching, bad program, what it is. Will Howard was there for a long time. He ended up doing all right, moving up to Ohio State, got out of Kansas, and won the Natty. So now he's going to be the Steelers starting quarterback unless Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins goes there. But until they do, it's looking like it could be a mix between Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, which is kind of intriguing. Not great. You probably, for your Metcalf bags, you're going to want Aaron Rodgers or at least Kirk Cousins there. And I'd rather have Kirk Cousins between the two. Yo, what up tonight, Chris? How you doing, my man? Appreciate you coming back in the chat. It was a good stream last night with Steve. A lot of good info Steve was giving out. He was giving out dynasty advice. He's giving out best ball advice, general fantasy strategy, football knowledge, his takes on the draft, the coaching changes. Check out the Fanspeak Network, like I said all last night. Check out their new best ball subscription. I got a sub, so I'm in. I'm going to be reading the articles on the Substack, looking at the ranks, tuning into the draft streams. You should check it out too. Link in the description from last night's stream. You can find all of Steve's links, Twitter, his YouTube page, all the good stuff. Appreciated him coming on. He came on for like 3 hours. I think we did 3 drafts, and a lot of knowledge got dropped. So that was a really fun one from last night. Fantasy Dog coming in hot with the like. Yeah, smash that like, guys. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you're subbed. We're going to be drafting all summer. You're going to want to be here, chilling in the chat, asking fantasy questions, getting answers. A lot of sharp guys in this community. And we're going to be drafting. Got a few sharp drafters in here tonight. Got King, got Coolers, got River Rat. All right, I got 2 picks to go. I could take a running back. I need a wide receiver too. Rayler McLeod. Do I do McLeod? That's a weird pick. Nah, I took Shipley. I honestly didn't want McLeod McLeod. Didn't really want him. Didn't commit to it. Didn't get him. I think this is the pick. I hope no one takes him. I think that's the pick. Who else is in here on the turn? No one. We got Jay, Hersman, and Magoo. I've drafted with Magoo a lot before, actually. It's been a while, but I recognize that name. There's no way they would take Kayshon Boutte. I have been seeing Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson going the last 2 rounds. Get them. Get them while you can. I lean Calvin Austin. I lean Calvin Austin because he's a big play potential. He's kind of like a Tutu Atwell, at least in my opinion. I think he's decent. He's a little bit on the smaller side, but can put up some numbers if he gets the targets. If Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins goes to Pittsburgh and they don't bring in another wide receiver, which maybe Rodgers brings Lazard or something weird like that, and who knows what they could do, but Calvin Austin could be going a whole nother round ahead. If not, he's still a good pick in round 17 or 18. And then Roman Wilson is kind of like roll the dice. He kind of is a red shirt. He was really good at his senior year or his last year in Michigan. I forget the stat, but I heard a pretty interesting stat about him. And I think he was top 12 in like yards per route run is across the whole NCAA or just like the FBS. His last year in college, he was injured last year. The Steelers, never got off to a good start. So, Anthony coming in hot. Big fan of the Blanton. Very good. Not a big drinker. Yeah. I'm not a big drinker lately myself. With the newborn at home, and then I got my 2-year-old running around, so I'm staying very busy. But always nice to have a good bourbon list on hand. I like the Blanton recommendation. You guys are getting me some good stuff. Yeah, you all agree. We're all on the Blanton train. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll have to get on good terms with someone that'll gift me that because I'm not buying it for myself. Rattler, yeah. I think Rattler, another OU quarterback like Dylan Gabriel. I think Rattler's interesting. I think he's not looking so good to start out. Had to ditch the Sooners, move on to where did he end up playing? Wasn't it South Carolina? He's a Gamecock. But he had a rough go at it with trying to be the Saints quarterback last season, right? And they bring in Tyler Shuck, who also got booed out of Lubbock when he was a Red Raider. Ends up in Louisville, has one good year. Famously used to back up Justin Herbert. So maybe Shuck will be good, maybe not. They seem to like him so far, and they seem to be souring on Carr. That relationship went down fast. Dang, I'm way behind you guys in the chat. Apologize, but I guess I was just focused on backstacking May there. I'll catch up with y'all. We'll review this draft and then another draft coming soon. Get queued up, get in the lobby, get waiting. I'll count it down before we get in. I'll give you like a 5-second heads up. You'll see me maneuvering over to the drafts page. We're going to get into it real quick, but let's catch up with y'all. Then let's review the team. And hey, give me a shout out. I'll try to get down to it. If this is too loud or you just aren't feeling it, let's get some of this going. Here we go. Too loud. It's hard for me to tell. I don't have good volume controls on StreamYard. I don't have a mixer or anything. So yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I know, Jason. Just catching up. We got some bros in the chat. Yeah. What up, Chris? I'm catching up with the chat. I'm reading everyone's stuff. I saw you pop in here. You were here last night, too. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're going to be drafting with us real soon and learning some ball. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I'm getting a sense. Let's see. What'd y'all say? Is it too loud? I'll turn it down just a little bit. I hope it's not too loud. Sometimes it, yeah, like I said, it comes through weird. Yeah, appreciate you guys hitting the like. Yeah, and so I was going to say, yeah, good combo last night with Steve. Ah, man, fun to talk with Steve. Dude knows ball, right? Fun to talk ball with Steve. Sharp guy. Check out the FanSpeak Network. Check out their Best Ball subscription. Hey, if you're new to Best Ball, great place to be. You can learn along with us. We're all learning. We're all building the plane as it's flying, trying to figure this thing out, trying to win these large field tournaments. If you're new to Underdog and you're in a state where it's legal and you're interested and you're 18 plus or all that stuff, consider signing up with code Candyman. That's my username, Candyman on here. There's a bunch of promotions. They'll pretty much match whatever you deposit. So if you're signing up for the first time and you want to use code Candyman, feel free. And definitely stick around, subscribe to the channel, and we'll learn a lot. We'll learn a lot this summer. Appreciate you, Anthony. Have a great night, man. Catch you in another one real soon. Probably signed off already. I hope you have. Have a good one. Yeah, Robert Woods was with the Steelers now too. I did see that. He had a pretty dusty adventure in Houston, so be interesting. Thanks for the drafts. Yeah, King. Have a great night, my man. Catch you another time soon. Have a good one. Oh, y'all are sweet. Yeah, Shuck. When he's under pressure, the man throws underhanded passes in double coverage. That doesn't sound good, Jeff. That sounds pretty damning on Shuck and his abilities. Let's see. It's fine volume. It's good. Good night. Yeah, see you, Anthony. Catch y'all later. Yeah, man. Come along for the ride. We'll teach you some things, Chris. So Underdog is the site. Best Ball is the format. And we're going to be drafting all summer. So we're drafting these teams, trying to win big money tournaments. I'm getting back into another one. One more puppy, maybe. Who knows? Maybe more. But we're getting into a puppy. It's going to be a 20-second clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Waiting on 3. Just enough time for y'all to squeak in. Yeah, man. Appreciate you being here. And we're just going to be talking ball. The Jets, that's an interesting team to be a fan of. That can be challenging. I'm a fan of the Texans. It can be a very challenging franchise to be a fan of at times. Ooh, and we're full. Let's see who's in here. The world famous Huron River Rat in the 2 spot. My main man, FK Coolers in the 4. You guys got lucky. You got the front of the board. Come on. I'm in the 8 spot. That's okay. Could be worse. Otherwise, I don't know. A. Jordy. I remember A. Jordy. A lot of badges. A lot of badges for a puppy for 11:30 Central. The 8 spot. Man, I'm going to have to pull something out here. I've been keeping my eye on y'all in these draft rooms. I've been keeping an eye. That's one of the benefits of the sunshades, sunglasses, the shades. I can look over here. You don't know where I'm looking. I can look over here. You don't know where I'm looking. I'm keeping an eye on you guys and what you're drafting in these rooms. I've been seeing some good stuff. I've also been seeing some questionable things. And sometimes I'm going to let it slide. Sometimes I'm going to call you out. Let's get into it. Another puppy draft. This is number 4 of the night. I'm almost certain. I'm losing count. It's a good thing. We're getting into our flow state. If the schedule was out, this would be the perfect time to brew some coffee or an espresso, grab a Red Bull, and really get into some BBMs late at night. Take advantage of people stumbling into some rooms after a few bourbons, maybe, and but just getting into that flow state. I like to approach the drafts in bulk. Just getting one draft done, one at a time, doesn't ever feel as good. I want to get a few drafts in at a time, get a bunch of different players, different positions around the board, feel out different rooms, figure out where the ADPs are going. That's what the puppy's really allowing me to do right now. I've never historically been a big drafter on these puppies, but I think I'm going to go a little bit harder into the puppies this season, at least until we get the schedule. And then I'm going to hit Best Ball Mania pretty hard. I think I'm 13 Best Ball Manias in right now, so I could easily do another 13 to 20 in the first couple of days while the schedule's released. First, 2 to 4 days, get somewhere between 12 and 20 in, and then cool for a bit, wait for some more camp news, things like that, injuries, trades. It's been an interesting week. Even let's get some London. I took Ladd in an earlier draft with, was that with Genty? I said I was going to go Bucky or JT. I'm going to go Bucky here, pull him up a little bit. I need more London, but it's not the pick for me right now. I'm going to grab Bucky, pull him up. I'm going to update my overlay and check my last Genty. Well, I could check it, but maybe it'll show me here. Who did I just get with Genty? I guess it wouldn't show here, right? Because I haven't updated the exposure. I'm going to look on my phone while this board keeps going. Let me pull it up. I'm really curious. Was that the last? No, it was 2 drafts ago. That's why. The last draft was the Bucky CD Lamb team. And then the one before, where I got Genty, which reminds me, we got to hit the Genty clip again in a second. That previous one that I got Genty was the Genty McConkey team. Okay, I thought so. So I almost went London this time, and then I just quick pivoted into Bucky. Let's hit the Genty clip. Fantasy Dog didn't get in. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it did feel somewhat fast. Shout out to Green Bean. Thanks for stopping by, my man. Hope you had a great day at work. I think I read that correct. You're just getting off. Welcome. Get in here. We're doing more drafts. Chase Brown, Devontae Adams. I think you gotta anchor down with Devontae. Or do you go Chase Brown? I don't know. I don't know. I want to go Devontae. I on the fence. Could have gone Chase Brown. A little bit of a value on him. Only about 3 picks past ADP. Devontae right at 80. I think it's fine. Either way, structurally, I like Devontae better here. But, I mean, the running back in one of the highest scoring offenses could always be a nice piece. I don't know. I don't know about Chase Brown was really good to end the season last year. Better than Kyren for sure. Just got hot at the right time. Week over week. For a few weeks in the second half of the season, it was Chase Brown over Kyren. Yeah, Putt Daddy. I did a couple fast puppies last year. Ooh, and Kittle goes nice and early. Okay, I think this is the Metcalf team. Already gotten a Jaden Daniels or two, and I did Jaden Daniels last time I had Genty. I think Metcalf. I could go Evans. I went Evans. 2 reasons. One, nice little ADP value. I do have Metcalf ranked about the same. I've got Bucky too, and I pulled Bucky up. So getting Bucky with Mike Evans is probably becoming less common, where Bucky goes between picks 21 to kind of, if you're lucky, 28 range, and we haven't seen Mike Evans going there in a while. And then Mike Evans can fall to the end of the 4th, but doesn't always. And I think still a good pick. Got some old wide receivers, some young running backs. Not a bad way to play it. So I took Bucky at 17. What's his ADP again? 22. So I lose a little bit of draft capital there, but I'm trying to get unique. Sometimes it's important to get unique, and I don't know how many Genty Bucky teams there are drafted so far in this contest. I bet you people do it where they take Genty like in the 3 overall to 5 overall range, and then they take Bucky where he normally goes. So it's probably more common in that position, and in which case I'm still getting a somewhat unique team in the more of the middle of the board. And I'd argue it's better to pull Bucky up than it is to take Genty up there, because if Genty really should be going up there, I'm still getting him at the 8 spot, so I'm just not missing out on all the other first round picks that you'd lose exposure to if you did that a lot. Easily could go Ridley, and I think I might, except Pickens is there, and I haven't gotten any Pickens yet, so I might just go Pickens to change it up. I don't know. I want to. I still have Ridley ranked higher. Let me go Ridley for a little bit longer. Man, Jalen Hurts in the 5th round is nice with Devonta Smith stacked up, the Rashee Rice in the 3rd round, Drake London, Puka Nacua. No idea what that name is. A Todic, 81. Nice team. Let's see what he does at running back, though. I mean, he can definitely land this. Nice team. Yeah, Pickens goes 58, so real close there. Yeah, Putt Daddy, I don't know. The 10-second contest. I thought that was a 10-second Schnauzer, but I remember the fast puppy. I don't remember it being 10 seconds. Those go fast. Those are rapid fire. Those are pretty wild. $65. I'm not going to do Godwin. That would be the other thing, like, obviously with Evans and Bucky, could go Godwin. I'm not gonna. I get Kamara there. 3 really good running backs. Probably be done for a long time. Just naturally at this spot in the board, I want to take the last of this tier of running backs before I get into those tier of like receivers like Jennings or even Golden maybe. Could have gone Golden there. I thought about it for a half second. Oh, thoughts about drafting Noel and Higgins at wide receiver? I like them both. I think they're both undervalued right now for where they could be going, what they could be doing. So I'm in. Let's draft Knoll. Let's draft Higgins. Hope one of them hits, or maybe they both do. True. Yeah, last year there were a couple. What up, Jeff T? How you doing tonight, my man? Hope you're having a great Friday. Getting some drafts in, huh? Getting some drafts in. You're not in this room, are you? We're doing another one probably after this, if I had to guess. We've been ripping these puppies. I saw some Genty. I don't know if I saw his center, and I don't remember the center's name. I'm not so familiar with the O-line that the Raiders have. I could look into it. Let me know what your thoughts are. But a large human? Yeah, Genty's a wide human, that's for sure. Big, strong guy. Not the tallest guy, but reminds me kind of like of Doug Martin, maybe, size-wise. Yeah, no doubt, Chris. No doubt. Bo Nix going to have a down year. It's tough. It's tough. We've seen it with Stroud. You know, the sophomore slump can be a real thing sometimes. Bo Nix is pretty expensive, and he goes at a relatively high ADP in these contests, so I didn't have a ton of Bo Nix to date. But the rushing upside is intriguing. Okay, do I grab a falling Caleb, or do I take a Jayden Reed, or I probably go Reed on this one? That seems stupid. Could be a bell cow running back. It seems dumb to skip out on Caleb Johnson for Reed, even though I don't need running back. I'm going to get those 4 and then definitely be done for a while. I get a little bit of the ADP value in Caleb Johnson. I think Caleb Johnson can do it all. I think he'll be good. I don't think Jaylen Warren is going to be any problem for Caleb Johnson. Get the touchdown upside. Get some of the passing work. Not all of it, though. And then, I mean, Jayden Reed's just not interesting enough for me to get off of a potential RB1 on the Steelers. And whoever comes back around at 89 is going to be somewhat similar to the bet on Jayden Reed anyways, like a Mooney. I could throw in Ayuk. The injury is concerning. There's a lot of old receivers already. I mean, it's like age 30 plus only, and then I've got younger, except for Kamara, running backs. I'm going to make this pick and let my dog out. I'll catch up with y'all. She needs to go outside, so let me go take her out real quick. Right back on this one. Could it be Ayuk? I don't like Buka. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ayuk then. Hope he's healthy. Be right back. If I was asleep, she would be asleep too, but the fact that I'm awake keeps her awake, I guess, and she likes to get out every couple hours. Okay, Steelers, Saints, Bucks. Got 2 Bucks. Could come back on the Raiders, could do some Raider stacks. Got a Ram, Titan, 49er. I asked Steve about Ayuk last night. He was not excited, but I get him at somewhat of a discount, so I've gotten a lot of fields tonight. Could keep it going strong. Would love to get some Cam Scatterbo on this team. I mean, but geez, do I really need a running back? Yeah, okay, glad FK takes him. Does me a favor. I mean, I didn't need a running back at this point. Of course, Mason's there, and I love Mason. Caleb doesn't make sense for me. Purdy is interesting, but it's a bit early. I would still go Fields over Purdy, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna make this pick. Catch up with y'all. Let the dog in. Keep it running. Man, the wide receivers are getting thin. It's gonna be Fields here. I don't know why I'm queuing running backs when I need a wide receiver. Or Kyle Williams was looking good. I heard. What'd you guys hear about Kyle Williams today at the Patriots rookie camp? I heard he was looking good. I'm gonna go close the door. The dog came back in. Be right back. You like that underdog shirt? They send you these every once in a while. I'm sure y'all have a few too. Okay, catch up with y'all. Pick on the horizon. I don't know what I'm doing here. Stacking options. It's late for Ward. Purdy's still there. I would do Purdy in this range if he's there. Yeah, we love Genty. That's true. No underdog in New York. It's kind of crazy. I did notice that Tez Johnson ended up in Tampa Bay. I think I saw him get drafted, right? He wasn't undrafted. He went like 7th round or something. Pretty late for where everyone thought he might go early in the spring. Let's see. I'm still catching up. Joe, what did Jeff say? Yeah. The Evans, when I pulled up to Bucky, I think it could be somewhat of a unique position to have Bucky and Evans with Genty there. Not that it's like completely uncommon and impossible to do, but just a little nice one to have. Yeah. Well, this is a time box tournament, so yeah. Harvey's going to be good. Harvey should be good. He was a touchdown merchant at UCF. I think Harvey's going to be a good running back for the Broncos. Let me jump to the board. It's been a while since I looked at it. So I went Fields and then Purdy. I'm feeling good at quarterback now. Can chill just a bit. I don't have a tight end yet, though. I've been pushing tight end in these drafts. It's kind of the theme of tonight. Late tight end. Figure it out later. Get a lot of nice running backs early and then have to artfully take wide receivers to catch up. You're going to be behind somewhere. You'd rather it be tight end than any other position. But I do need a wide receiver here in round 11. It seems like a good spot to take one, even though the QBs are all there. Jeez. Tucker Kraft could be a spot, though. Not a good spot for wideouts. I might just go Kraft. Right about ADP. Seems fine. High scoring offense. Should maintain his role. Had a pretty good year last year as a sophomore. I don't know. Am I done at QB with these two, or I take a third? 9 and 10. Rounds 9 and 10, so I'll figure it out. I might get another one, and if I did, it would be could be Ward. I don't think I want Stafford. Stafford's ceiling is just so limited, really. All right. Could take another tight end. Shouldn't do that, though. I might go Spears, kind of a nice pick. The running backs are strong, but Spears could be nice there. The wideout range is just so bad right now. I'm going to go Spears there. Wait on the wideouts one more round. And now my dog wants to leave the office. So I'm going to let her out. Be right back. I'll catch up with y'all. 2 seconds. All right. What is going on? Where did Baker go in this one? Because I didn't even keep tabs on Baker. Probably should have done a better job at that. I took Brandon Ayuk over Baker. Of course, now she wants back in. This dog. Come on. Come on, girl. That's what she does. She's trying to tell me to go to bed. That's what she wants. She wants me to go to bed so she can go to bed. Yeah. What we're seeing in minicamp. Yeah. Everyone looks pretty good. Yeah, those mini schnauzers were wild. I remember those came out during 4th of July. I was on vacation in Vermont and I was drafting 10 and 15-second schnauzers that whole weekend. It was fun. It was fun for a while. It was very new and very different for Underdog. Tyler Warren might be the best pick. He could be. Talent over situation. Could be. I got some more in my last draft. Goddard here seems fine. I'm going to queue up some other wide receivers. Still need to get that 5th wide receiver. It's getting dangerously late. Going to be the 14th round for my 5th wide receiver. Not something I've done frequently, if ever, but hit the running backs really hard early. Got enough at wideout in the first 5 rounds. My 4th and the 8th round, so a slight pause to get value on Caleb Johnson. It's been QBs, tight end, running back, another tight end. A barbell approach to wide receiver can work. Yeah, FK got him at 93. That's right. I think that's good. There's no way he'd come back to me at 104. I mean, I've seen it happen. It's happened in drafts, but I wouldn't expect that. If I wanted him, I needed to take him, but I needed that draft pick on Ayuk to get my wide receiver room going, and I still haven't taken another wide receiver since somehow. Okay. I'm between Romeo and Adam Thielen there. The value on Goddard seems worth getting. Looking back, I also could have stacked Cam Ward with Calvin Ridley and Tajay Spears. I didn't feel like I needed to get another quarterback at that point, though. So I'm not going to force the QB stack just because I have those pass catchers. It's even if Cam Ward does well enough to support them, I don't have to have him to hit on those two. I can still hit with Justin Fields as kind of a different bet. I was taking a ton of Cam Ward in the big board with all the Calvin Ridley I was getting when Ridley was still going in like the 70s. So I would backstack with Ward quite often in the QE3 builds or sometimes even in a QE2 build. Haven't been drafting as much Ward lately though. There goes Stafford in case he ever fell like really late. And then if I took Thielen, it would have been better for Bryce Young. Thielen's still there, kind of surprisingly. I would like to get Mason Taylor at some point. I've got I'm gonna risk it on Mason Taylor. Grab a falling Thielen. That feels good. And then Geno's another out. I could do Geno. There goes Geno. Geno goes to the Bowers drafter. Pretty typical. Even with Genty, it's like you don't have to have Geno. I could do something with Shuck late around Kamara. Otherwise, I think I'm done at QB with those two. Purdy and Fields is enough. Especially when it looks, I mean, I could figure something out super late with Darnold. There goes Taylor. So again, Justin Fields is going to be unstacked. Most likely. Yeah, stars. It would be. I don't know where Carr is going to end up. Is it Carr that ends up going to Pittsburgh? Wasn't Carr kind of in the running for going to Pittsburgh in the past? So we might get a revival of that. I feel like that was a thing for a while. Round 16, I just took some wideouts, but I could do it again. Pat Bryant's kind of fun. Fun pick. Pat Bryant. Haven't drafted him yet tonight. Sprinkle it in. Get a rookie with upside. out of Illinois. Add some youth to this wideout group. Over 30, over 30, over 30. Another over 30. Not a lot of stacks going on in this one. Just more of a scooping up some value in this one, in this draft. I could point to Caleb. It might be the best grab at only about 5 picks ADP, but in an earlier round. Evans Evans was one of the better fallers too. Ayuk's not terribly bad, and then Thielen, some value there. Looks like Pat Bryant's going to continue to rise up the board a little bit. So I'm ranking him ahead of where he's going. This running back room should be done. I don't think I should take any more unless I get a great last round value. So it could be like a 2-7-7-2, maybe a 2-6-8-2 or 3. I could be done at tight end as well. Not really feeling it from the quarterbacks. I think I'm going to call it on those quarterbacks. Could be done at tight end. Juwan Johnson lines up with Kamara a little bit. Jatavian lines up with Thielen. So there's options there. I don't need the third tight end, so I'm going to focus on running back and wide receiver. Is Darnold there? No, Darnold's gone. I'm going to take some Dobbins. Why not? It's not like my wide receiver room is that bad that I need 2 more. And I feel good with 2 tight ends and 2 QBs. Pick 200 Dobbins. What if he's a Cowboy? What if he's a Bear? There's a lot of good spots he could land. Now, I've got a super deep running back room. I mean, I don't even need Dobbins to play. The only concern on this one would be, do those 2 teams have the same bye week, the Jets and the 49ers? And then is Shuckworth drafting even? If I was going to go Shuck, I probably would have taken Juwan Johnson already. So the fact that I don't have Juwan Johnson makes me want to lean into Shuck. And then I don't want to go overboard on Calvin Austin. Let me get some Tutu to go with my Devontae Adams. Feels kind of nice. Interesting to see Jerome Ford going nearly undrafted. 2-6-8-2 build. I agree, Jeff. I think he can continue to rise. I mean, sorry for the blinding light. Bryant went in the 3rd round, pick 10. What's the difference between him? I mean, production-wise, I think Kyle Williams is better. 10 touchdowns is nice. Good target share. Decent age. Pretty weak sophomore year, though. You always look for that. Kyle Williams also went in the 3rd round. Pick 305. I mean, faster, older. Played at UNLV, had some off the field issues apparently. I don't know the full details. Not a great sophomore year either. Prolific final year though, in a good enough penultimate year in 2023. But look at that, 14 touchdowns, 1,200 yards in 13 games. That's pretty impressive. The yards per reception is also pretty nice there. So I get the hype on Kyle Williams, but I think, like you said, Jeff, I think Bryant is undervalued. So I've been drafting him a good amount. Mm, 100%. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Some good golfers, though. Some good golfers in this wide receiver room, if that counts for anything. We already know that Thielen's a scratch golfer, and I've heard Devontae Adams is pretty damn good too. Pretty good hitting the links. So, but yeah, definitely an older wideout room. Your room. Everyone has a clapper. Let's check this one out. And then the star says Higgins, Harris, Williams, Besh. One or two have to smash, all but Rise. Because was Besh also round 3, or was he actually round 2? I keep forgetting. End of round 2. The Besh ADP. The Besh ADP is interesting because he's going 126. I have him ranked 129. The first 4 best ball manias I did all on the Monday, like almost 2 weeks ago, opening day. I had 4 best ball manias drafted, and I had 4 Jack Besh teams. Every single one of them had him at ADP between about 133 to 132 to 134 to 136 maybe. So he hasn't actually risen that much, but he is rising. And I think the Raiders are onto something. They're gonna be in a good spot with Geno Smith, I think. So he might be able to give Myers and Besh a lot of targets. Bowers, we already know that. Let's review this one. 2.682. A little bit thin at QB. Purdy has a decent rushing upside as well, though, so don't forget about it. Obviously, if they have the same bye week, the team's dead or have a hard time advancing. The running backs, I mean, pretty strong if you ask me. There's not a whole lot of correlation on this one. There's the only concerning part. It's more of like a lot of value picks and just trying to get good guys. Atwell to go with Devontae. Evans with Bucky. Spears with Ridley. So, more correlated, more team stacking than it at first appeared. Eagles and Packers. And then Dubs. So Dubs and Kraft. Okay, so this one's not bad. I mean, it's stacked up a little bit just with team stacks. So that could be nice. I think that's it for tonight, boys. I think we're going to call it there. Appreciate y'all coming out on this Friday night. Have a great weekend. As always, we're going to be drafting all summer. You know where to find it. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me show you a little something that might tilt the scales in my favor. Whoops. What do you think about this? Does that do anything for you? If you weren't subscribed already, can you really say no to this? We got some more. What else I got cooking up? I got to work on this graphic, but it's your choice. Are you going to take the like or the subscribe? Possibly you. It's another one. And the circle of trust. I like to end it here on the circle of trust. Get in the circle of trust. Subscribe to the channel. Come hang out with the chat. You're going to want to be here all summer. We're drafting best ball teams, talking ball, having on guests. Schedule coming out probably by Monday. My stream schedule. Show announcements coming out soon. Next guest on coming out soon. And I think I'm streaming with BBG Sunday night on his channel. We might be simulcasting it on both channels. Might just be on his channel. We'll see. So look forward to that. Look forward to more streams. I'll catch y'all in another one real soon. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, I could have maybe passed on Caleb for a value wide receiver, but I got Caleb like 5 picks past ADP. Want some more Caleb. But yeah, that made it tough. Had to play catch up after that one. Yeah, can't go wrong with Happy. Feel like that's very age appropriate for us. One of the best sports movies of all time. See y'all in another draft soon. Thanks for coming out tonight. Have a great weekend. I'll probably see you in a draft even tomorrow. We'll see. All right. Later.